Leonardo da Vinci was the king of procrastination and not finishing anything. So today I will give you an incomplete list of incomplete works. This list is incomplete because not only are there so many things he started and never finished, there are things he never started. I'm just looking at his paintings, so not all his incomplete inventions or his writings on flight, anatomy, especially the heart. He wrote a lot about that. So anyways, let's get going. So the first one I want to talk about is his Adoration of the Magi. This was commissioned in 1481 by the monastery of San Donato outside Florence. His father, Piero, was the notary for this monastery and helped make the contract. Obviously, it made the list because he didn't finish. Instead, he moved to Milan. An interesting thing about this painting is it does include what is probably a self-portrait of Leonardo. This was a thing artists did at the time. Like Botticelli also has a self-portrait in his Adoration. Another unfinished painting from around the same time is St. Jerome in the Wilderness. So some interesting facts about this is, even though he started probably around 1480, he was probably working on it some 30 plus years later. It includes some anatomy that he would not learn until 1510, specifically like the muscles in the neck. We know he didn't know this anatomy because his early sketches for the Last Supper had the muscles incorrect. So at some point the painting was lost and actually cut into different pieces. It was rediscovered and put back together in the 19th century by Cardinal Joseph Fesch, who was the uncle of Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah. Another unfinished painting is the Battle of Anguiari. This was commissioned in 1503 for the Council Hall in Palazzo della Signoria in Florence. So this was after he had already finished the Last Supper, and at that point the Last Supper was already starting to fall apart. Basically, Leonardo liked to use oil paint, which does not stick to the walls well. So to fix that problem, Leonardo first coated the wall with something called Greek pitch. Unfortunately, that did not work out, and the paint refused to dry, and like his other incomplete works, he eventually quit. Michelangelo was commissioned to do the opposite wall. At this point, Leonardo was in his early 50s, Michelangelo was in his late 20s, and they had this huge rivalry going on. Michelangelo didn't get along with anyone. So this painting was meant to be like the battle between the greats, Leonardo and Michelangelo. But, like I said, Leonardo didn't finish, and also Michelangelo did not finish. He left to do the Sistine Chapel. And what they did leave behind was eventually covered up by the painter Giorgio Fasari. And a fun fact about Vasari is he was a painter, but he's best known for his book, Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Artists, which includes the earliest biography of Leonardo da Vinci. The last one I want to talk about is the Horse Monument. So the horse was commissioned in 1482 by Ludovico Sforza. It was supposed to be like this giant horse statue. Leonardo did a lot of preparatory sketches. He studied horses. He made a clay model Obviously, it did not work out. And actually, this one's not entirely his fault. One of the reasons it didn't work out is Milan went to war against France. They had to use all the metal needed for the sculpture to make cannons. Then the French took over and kind of destroyed the model. Fast forward about 500 years, in 1977, Charles C. Dent read up about the statue and decided to make it. It took them a long time to raise enough money to make it. Also, he died. It is finally completed based on a cast made by the artist Nina Akamu. It was unveiled September 10th, 1999 in Milan. There is also a version in America. So that's all the ones I'm going to talk about today. Obviously there are others. There's Saint Anne with Virgin and Child. He never started a painting of Isabella d'Este, although he did do a drawing of her. And she really wanted a painting, but he never did. Anyways, that's all I have to say today, so bye-bye.